Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, great.
So you can see the presentation?
Yes.
That's perfect. So, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this conference. Sorry for the problems we have today. And I hope next year it may be in Belgrade, real. The purpose of this talk is to show the importance of a good strategy for Horizon 2020 in the European Union Circular Economy Action Plan. But let me also start introducing a bit myself. I'm assessor for European Commission on Research and Innovation, and I'm working for Brazil, as you mentioned before, as one of the members for regional development and competitiveness. So we are trying to research on this circular economy action plan for regional development. And first of all, we should consider that I'm going to try to explain the importance of a good strategy as a key for eligibility criteria for a Horizon 2020 proposal. For that, I have divided my presentation in the following parts. I will try to speak from the information contained in the Circular Economy Action Plan. A recent study estimates that applying circular economy principles across the European Union economy has the potential to increase European Union GDP by an additional 5% by 2030, creating around 700,000 new jobs. There is a clear business case for individual companies who, since manufacturing firms in the European Union spend on average about 30% on materials. Because of this, it's considered that the circular economy can strengthen the European Union's industrial base and foster business creating and entrepreneurship among small, medium enterprises. But the question is, why it's necessary to connect a strategy to Horizon 2020? Firstly, the best strategy is the one who finds the best answers to the right questions. If in addition, the good answers are different, the more valuable those answers are. Horizon 2020 projects require that the strategy development is participatory and benefits from the collective intelligence of all partners. We would have to think in three phases of the development of the strategy, such as anticipation, adaptation, and action. Each of the phases has to answer different questions. For example, if we refer to anticipation, it's obvious that we have to answer what is going to happen, how to take advantage of it or prevent it. If we refer to adaptation, what should our proposal look like? What advances and advantages do we have? And referring to action, what can we do? What do we want the world to be like? Scaling up the circular economy from front runners to the mainstream economic players will make a decisive contribution to achieving climate neutrality by 2050 and the coping economic growth from resource use while ensuring the long-term competitiveness of the European Union and leaving no one behind. So reflecting views of key stakeholders and serve their trust, expectations, and value for the ecosystem where politicians, researchers, and other agents add their point of view. So we have to understand that we move from policy to program and from program to project. Secondly, it's important we answer to each of the elements of the strategy design when responding to each section of our proposal in a general way and then in a more specific way. Then it's necessary to consider the links between the four perspectives and its integration, innovation, internal processes, customer, and financial perspective. The Circular Economy Action Plan provides a future-oriented agenda for achieving a cleaner and more competitive Europe in co-creation with economic actors, consumers, citizens, and civil society organizations. European businesses are front runners in circular innovations. The European Regional Development Fund, through a smart specialization, LIFE and Horizon Europe, will complement private innovation, funding, and support the whole innovation cycle with the aim to bring solutions to the market. The European Institute of Innovation and Technology will coordinate innovation initiatives on circular economy in collaboration with universities, research organizations, industry, and small medium enterprises within the knowledge and innovation communities. So it's important to know who is designing the agenda to answer strategically in our proposal. Then we must use tools that propose to try to be different, especially in the design phase of the proposal. Make an industry map that reflects competitive factors to know which of them is better to remove, reduce, raise, create. Could be a good idea, for example. Let's move to the structure of Horizon 2020. It's a structure around three main pillars based on European priorities: excellent science, industrial leadership, and societal challenge. But in particular, innovative models based on a closer relationship with customers, mass customization, the sharing and collaborative economy, and powered by digital technologies such as the Internet of Things, big data, blockchain, and artificial intelligence will not only accelerate circularity, but also could link some of the pillars. Let's move to, in this case, to the key questions we should be answering. First of all, it's important to educate the assessors with facts and figures and try to answer to questions like, what new knowledge you are generating? Will this establish Europe as international leader? Is the knowledge already available? Why now? Why you? Are you the best people to do this work? Questions must be answered the first 15 seconds of the proposals to have an overall view. Secondly, excellence. Excellence of the principal investigator and excellence of the whole of the project. The added value we are offering that could make our proposal different to others. What else can we offer? Are we offering only a business model? Are we offering a value chain connecting different enterprises for the regional development? Next, if we refer to technological level, proposals must aim at one of the following two impacts: initiating a radically new line of technology, a quick starting and emerging innovation ecosystem. We have to mention if it is a basic research, a laboratory research, technology development, technology demonstration, a product development, a product complete. And if we refer to social science proposals, we should mention if we are trying to show a concept deployment, or if it's validated at full scale, implemented, experimented, observed, reported. This is a question that we should be answering in our proposal. Later, we should identify the partners. After describe the big picture, identify the partners, the end users, lead users connected with technology, stakeholders, and their roles. It's essential. In the same way, describe the output, results, and long-term impacts. If we refer to short-term output, is there any change in knowledge? Is there any change in skills? What about in aspirations and attitude, awareness? In particular, medium-term outcomes. Is there any change in behavior and practices, procedures, values, decision-making? What about in long-term impacts? We could talk about political or policy change, economic change, social, environmental, technology, or legislation. But I think it's better to see with an example. Here we have electricity innovation boosting its value for Europe. We have to consider electricity sources, electricity distribution, electricity uses, and the waste of electricity. But here we have a sample showing political, economical, social, and technical issues. So we need more co-disciplinary work to propose initiatives that are not only scientifically and technologically feasible, but also ecologically responsible, climatically durable, ethically defendable, culturally acceptable, even psychologically compatible. What about impact? We we refer to impact indicators as it's provided an overview of the Horizon 2020 key performance indicators and defines the data that will be used to measure each indicator as well as the baseline and target. This plan wants to support impact measurement through existing, traditional, and newly identified indicators. So if we refer to the first pillar, and we are talking about excellent science, we could add some indicators like share of publication for ERC-funded projects, which are among the top 1% highly cited, publication in peer-reviewed high-impact journals, cross-sector and cross-country circulation of researchers, including PhD candidates, research infrastructures, which are made accessible to all researchers in Europe and beyond through union support. What about if we talk about the second and the third pilot? Then we could talk about patents approved in the different enabling and industrial technologies, total investments mobilized with peer debt financing and venture capital investments. What about share of participating small businesses introducing innovations new to the company or the market, or number of union pieces of legislation referring to activities supported in the area of the different talents? Other impact indicators would be spreading excellence and widening participation. Here we have indicators like evolution of the publications in high impact journals in a given research field, or number of institutional change action promoted by the program. And sometimes we forget that it's important to add cross-cutting issues, topics like gender communication and dissemination, small and medium-sized enterprises, widening participation, international cooperation are especially topics that the European Commission special to listen. So let's back to the eligibility criteria for a Horizon proposal. Now we are talking the exploitation, dissemination, and communication. How will the stakeholders be made aware of the results and potential impact of the project? Exploitation focuses on use, how the results be promoted to the lead users or target stakeholders. Dissemination refers to how will all the stakeholders be made aware of the result and potential impact of the project. And communication, making the public aware of the research being funded by the European Union, increase interest in science. What about the title? The title of our proposal should be based on the impact. Title could be used in a sentence. It's usually written last. And we would refer to writing styles. It's interesting, begin the proposal with the impact. In a narrative way, it should be written as a story, journalistic style, evidence, facts, figures, quotations, reference, using diagrams, graphics, tables, welcome. So an advice, impact should be written by impact partner. Reviewing different proposals, we find different common mistakes. If we refer to relevance, sometimes, in particular, the common mistake is to avoid that the creation of the consortium does not provide a clear added value to its members in accordance with the objectives of the call. Diverse understanding of regional involvement on the institutions is another mistake. Referring, secondly, to objectives. Objectives and timeless are unrealistic and not ambitious enough to achieve positive impact. The measures support for monitoring and evaluating progress toward the objectives must be appropriate and concrete. Thirdly, activities. The proposed number of participants in the activities should be proportional to the size and experience of the organization. Finally, management. The applicant has not proposed a clear and complete distribution of tasks in line with quality standards sometimes. So the applicant has not allocated appropriate resources to manage program activities in accordance with quality standards. So the management of the organization must be adequately involved. Finally, I would like to show you an example of everything I have mentioned before. And as a member of ERASE, the Association for Quality at University, and as a member of this group, we try to get a regional engagement of institutions of professional higher education in a circular economy. The European Union can only succeed if its efforts drive also the global transition to a just, climate neutral, resource efficient, and circular economy, and takes into account the professional higher education as a form that offers a particular intense integration with the world of work in all its aspects, including teaching, learning, research, and governance, and at all levels of the qualification framework of the European higher education area. The function is to diversify learning opportunities, enhance the employability of graduates, offer qualification, and stimulate innovation for the benefit of learners and society. That brings us our main objectives: provide capacity for regional strategy, develop talents, competences, and skills, promote regional development through user-inspired research and innovation, and enhance social, civic, and cultural activities of the region's community. The potential of the social economy, which is pioneering job creation linked to the circular economy, will be further leveraged by the mutual benefits of supporting the green transition and strengthening social inclusion, notably under the action plan to implement the European Pillar of Social Rights. Further investment in education and training systems, lifelong learning, and social innovation will be promoted under the European Social Fund Plus. So, connecting European Union Circular Economy Action Plan, we go further and establish our strategy lines, as you may see here, based on each of the objectives we have planned before. And finally, we establish the indicators for each of the objectives. So, providing capacity for regional strategy development may have as strategy lines, for example, providing expertise to regional strategies. And we try to measure through engagement in various regional bodies offering capacity for strategy plans and implementation. If we refer to the 8.1 events and region capacity building activities, we mentioned thematic conference, consultation, sharing experience. We have to show evidence of everything we are mentioning in our proposal. The second one, developing talents, skills, and competencies reflecting regional needs. If we refer, for example, the second one, reflecting regional needs and context in curriculum design. An indicator could be range and profile of the study programs, engage of relevant stakeholders. What about the third one, region-focused placement and apprenticeship? A good example could be providing with regional actors reflecting regional context. Active learning methods oriented on regional needs could be solved by projects, problem-based learning, entrepreneurship reflecting regional aspects, and so on. The third one, promoting regions' development through user-inspired research and innovation, could have as an example, for example, the second one we can see in our slide, focusing research and innovation for weak companies and public sector organizations. And one of the indicators could be active role, including relevant structures and internal policies. The third one, providing expert capacity for regional actors' development, could have as an example active role as structures and internal policies. And the fourth one, equipment, labs, science parks, as the example for providing access to universities, technological capacities, and equipment. So this strategy is to have in mind all the time the impact of a project and take it in account through the proposal. In conclusion, the European Union will continue to lead the way to a circular economy at the global level and use its influence, expertise, and financial resources to implement the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. The transition to the circular economy will be systematic, deep, and transformative in the European Union and beyond. It will be disruptive at times, so it has to be fair. It will require an alignment and cooperation of all stakeholders, and its impact at European Union, national, regional, local, and international level will be the expected strategic impact. Thank you very much. That's all. If you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer.
Thank you very much, dear Professor Maria. We managed at the end. Now I would like to ask for questions, if there are some.
Can I ask something again? Because
Please,
nobody
Professor.
wants to. I'm sorry. Well, I just want to ask you, do you have some advice for us or for all participants here on developing talents, competencies, and skills? Something from your personal experience, some hints perhaps?
Yeah, I think that in the last call I have been assessing, it was very, very important to have the engagement of the students. So every project to have the presence or the mentioning the engagement of the students, taking part of the, you have said before the previous presentation, mentioned that the students taking part with different projects. I think this is very, very important for us. These are very good practices, but we have to add value to these activities, because sometimes we mention as something that we are doing, but we don't give them the value they have. This is all day and day, and I think it has a lot of work we have to add in the proposal.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions more? Okay, thank you again, Professor Maria.